Hello students, welcome back to class on computer graphics. So we are talking about the next module topic, that is we are talking about the input and interaction as per syllabus module 5 topics. However, for us it is the second module. So uh, in the previous session we have discussed what are the logical inputs, obviously what are the physical input devices, then what are the logical inputs, how they are implemented by means of physical input devices, followed by various input modes, three types of input modes, like first one is request, then sample, as well as the third one is the event mode. This we have discussed in the previous session. Those who have not watched the video, due to some technical reason, I recorded the video and I have posted. So the video I have already shared in yesterday itself. Those who have not watched, I repeat, those who have not watched the video, please watch. Okay. The next topic is about the client server architecture in computer graphics. As you are aware of what is client and what is server is, the one who requests for the service is observed as client, and one who provides the service is observed as server. So in computer graphics architecture is based on the client server model. That is, if a computer graphics is to be useful for a variety of real world applications, it must function well in a word of a distributed computing network. Okay, in this architecture, the building blocks are the entities which are called as servers that perform the tasks requested by the client. So uh, there are various kinds of servers can be obtained here in the graphics architecture as well as in real world. So there may be print server, graphics server, workstation servers who gets access from various endpoints. Um, Even there is a compute server, file server, and graphics server. All are interrelated. All are connected through a common channel or network. What is server? A server is the one which serves or which provides a specific task. And what is client? A client is a one which requests for certain type of service. That is about the client server architecture. Next is of about display list. So what is a list? The original architecture of graphical system was based on the general purpose computer connected to a display. So this was the previous or earlier well-known architecture of computer graphics, where graphics architecture was defined by considering only a personal computer where host, I mean the server or whatever you can call CPU, which is directly connected onto the display. So a host is directly connected to display. That is what personal computer is. This is simple graphics architecture. So at that time, the disadvantage is that the system was slow and expensive. Therefore, a special purpose computer is built, which is known as display processor. So display processor architecture was evolved at that time. A dedicated system uh, dedicated for a display purpose. So we named it as display processor. So host is connected to DPU, that is display processing unit. Okay, which has got a set of, it has got a data set or file which is called as display file. Okay, the user program is processed by the host computer, which results a compiled list of instruction that was then sent to the display processor, where the instructions are stored in a display memory called as display file or display list. Display processor executes its display list contents repeatedly at sufficient high rate to produce the flicker free image. So what happens is all the graphical related things are processed with the help of this DPU, display processing unit, and display file is the one display file is the one which, what it does say, display file is the one where it stores the information, all the display related information it stores. So based on it, you can we can improve the performance, because all the display related informations are stored in a dedicated file called as display file. Okay, just repeatedly calling a display file and repeatedly calling the required parameter, we can have the flicker free image. Another important concept is there are two modes in which the objects can be drawn on the screen. Okay, there are two methods or modes where the object can be drawn on the screen. The first one is the immediate mode. So what is the meaning of immediate mode? In this mode, it sends the complete description of the object which needs to be drawn on the graphics server, and no data can be retained. As soon as the as soon as the data is stored in a display file, it will be brought on to the display for the display purpose. So there is nothing stored. Okay, as the data received or as the data processed, same data will be sent to the display. That is what called as immediate mode. We have the second mode as retained mode. Here it is offered by the display list. This is the another mode for which is used for display purpose. So here what happens is the value or the object parameters, they are stored in a dedicated area. Okay, they can be defined once, and anytime if you want to call, if you want to use that particular component, or if you want to call that particular model or object, you just make a call for that list. So in a retained mode, it is easy to understand. In immediate mode, nothing is stored. As soon as the object is defined, it is brought onto the display. But in case of retained mode, something will be stored and it will be retrieved, okay, or retained for later use. Next is about the definition and execution of the display list. So definition and execution of the display list. Display lists are defined similarly to the geometric primitive. It is display lists are created with the help of the, as it's a data structure which stores the information about the model or object which you want to draw. That is what display list is, and this display list is created with the help of a built-in OpenGL function, GL new list. So this proceeds the discussion of our OpenGL topics. So as we come across various OpenGL functions in the previous chapters, so this is the next built-in function, GL new list. Once again, it's a single phrase and there should not be any space between GL and new list. Okay, it's a single word. So GL in small, new list, N is capital, L is capital. There is no space in between. It's a single word. Then each display list must have a unique identifier. Okay, this identifier, how to write this identifier, alphabet it is. So identifier, integer value it will be having. Let us see how to we use this identifier, or how to create this, or to write this identifier. Here is an example, hope it is clearly visible. If it is not visible, please pause the video and watch. Okay, this is an example of creation of a display list. So this display list is defining an object. That object is a polygon, okay, closed surface polygon which contains 4 endpoints, as you can see the 4 endpoints marked. Okay, and this closed surface, a model definition. So model definition initialization is done through GL begin function, and termination is done through GL end function. So GL begin and GL end are marked right? So GL begin, which is the built-in function which we have discussed already in the previous session. It takes an identifier. That identifier we have given as polygon. Okay, that polygon, uh, that identifier should be in capital. All the letters should be in capital. GL underscore polygon is a keyword or identifier which defines that you are going to define and create a polygon, then followed by this color parameter is set. What is the color value chosen, or which color attribute you have chosen for the model which you are going to develop? So first component is set to 1, other two parameters are set to 0, which means you are going to choose the RGB. Since it's RGB model, no, red with maximum intensity, green and blue are absent. Green and blue are absent, red with maximum intensity. Then GL vertex to F is the function you are supposed to write, or is the function you are supposed to consider to draw the two-dimensional point, two-dimensional plot the two-dimensional point. So GL vertex 2F with this is the parameter -1 and -1, x and y parameter. Okay, x and y parameter. Fine. There are 4 points. End points are written here, followed by GL end. So GL begin and GL end. GL begin, which initializes the polygon drawing, and GL end terminates the polygon drawing at specified location. So so the additional part is GL new list and GL end list. So this entire thing, polygon what you have created, or the model in general or object in general is created, which is treated as a display list. So this display list is named as box. Okay, this display list is named as box, and this is the mode of compilation or mode of execution. There are different modes available: GL compile, GL compile and execute. So GL compile, which simply compiles the code and keep; GL compile and execute, which act as a immediate mode. Soon as the object created, compile and execute it, which stands for immediate mode, whereas GL compile acts as retained mode. Just compile the code and keep. Wherever it is called, that time only you just execute. Okay, there are the two modes of operations what we have discussed just now. There are two modes of execution or operation for the display list available. One is immediate mode and another one is retained mode. GL underscore compile is the identifier which refers to uh, refers to retained mode. GL compile and execute, which refers to uh, immediate mode. Okay, here we have GL underscore compile. So retain mode is used for the list you have created. That list is nothing but the display list. For the display list what you have created, and name of the list is box. You have named the list as box. Okay, termination of the list is done through built-in function. Once again, through the built-in function. That built-in function is GL and list. That built-in function is GL and list. Okay, new list and end list. Wherever you are using new list, you have to use end list. Okay, for the termination. New list is for the initialization, end list is for the termination. And initialization, which takes parameter, that parameter you need to pass. The parameter is name of the list, and second one, mode of execution of the list. So name of the list can be anything. Mode of execution, there are two options: either it can be GL underscore compile or GL underscore compile and execute. That we have not considered here. We will be considering that also later on. Please keep that in mind. Okay, so first statement in the header file section, we have to define the list with suitable identifier. Identifier is a number. Okay, hash define. Now you have to mention the name of the display list which you are going to create. So name of the display list you have created here is box. Mention its name as box, followed by you mention the what? Integer value. Okay, this integer value, each integer value should different integer values should be used for different lists. Okay, let's go through the video again, note down the things. Yeah, here it is, gl compile and gl compile and execute. What I told just now about the flag, the second parameter of the gl new list. Gl new list has got two parameter. No, one is name of the list, second one is mode of execution. There are two modes, either you can go for a retain mode or you can go for the immediate mode. So gl compile as well as another option is gl compile and execute. Okay, please watch the video. Let us continue our discussion in the next session.